You're about to hop on the hay.
If you go where
just start laying them down.
God is.
Fucking I'm Jack from here and everything I fucking had now.
We ought to do a show just on that.
What Ukraine is from an American's perspective. And then you go and you explain that it is a money laundering operation. And then you get into the Bay of Pigs and how it is similar.
Well,
the American perception of what Ukraine is and what I think Ukraine is two different things. You know, right down here on the windmill before you get ready to go down the hill, there's fucking Ukrainian flag flying. Everybody's like, oh, we gotta save the Ukrainians. Send them more money.
Right. I mean, I think it's dangerous, you know, because I mean, you roll up here, there was like 5 at one point, like 5, you would pass 5 of these flags on the way up here.
I mean, it's a dorky flag anyway, man. I mean, what is it? Come on, have a little imagination.
The 2 lines. I've always said that anyone who just has like a 2-line flag
They're like
is like
retarded.
you can't get mad when people like fuck up and flip your flag upside down.
Right.
You know
How
what
do
I
we
mean?
know it's up? I mean, isn't it blue, yellow, blue?
But the sky is blue and the wheat fields are gold.
That's how he explained it to me. So the bottom is gold, and then the top is blue. The
It's
bottom.
only
is-
2 colors,
Yeah, it's 2 colors.
but there's 3 lines.
no, there's no lines.
This is the
Really?
nationalist, the Ukraine nationalist flag. Yeah.
Okay, so this is
Oh yeah,
Hey,
it's
just
fucking
send
straight out
send
of
me
the
the
30s.
link on like Messenger or whatever.
Straight out of the 30s.
okay.
I know that is like some
Yeah.
fucking like red, black, eagle and an arrow.
Yeah,
weird
it's like
shit.
Biden's little speech there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
stupid is identical.
Same thing,
yeah.
man. They should have had that hanging in the background.
Yeah.
I think I sent it to both of you just now.
Yeah, very tyrannical imagery there. But go ahead and explain this further, because that's the political party that's now in control of Ukraine, correct?
Yeah,
That was voted in democratically.
yeah.
They said.
Yeah, and this
however-
flag was created like, what does it say? This is the Congress of Ukrainian Nationalists. Is a far right political party in Ukraine, which was founded in 18th of October in 1992.
Mhm. And what's the name of the political party?
That's when we ousted
Ukrainian Nationalists,
The Ukrainian Nationalists.
Isn't that when they ousted the last
probably.
president? Wasn't that the coup? 92 or something.
I saw some commercial,
Maybe
some like Pizza Hut commercial from Russia in like '91 or something. It was like right in the middle of the Cold War, and they were trying to like simmer things down. And the Russian leader who just died like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Gorbachev.
Yeah, Gorbachev. It's him going into a Pizza Hut, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, look, it's Gorbachev!" And he's like sitting there just eating pizza with his daughter. It's like this weird, like pro-Russia, pro-Pizza Hut.
And
It's super
isn't
fucking weird.
Gorbachev the one with the map of Italy on his head?
I don't know about that.
Was he got a
He had it tattooed?
No, like a birthmark or something. Wasn't that Gorbachev, Taylor?
I don't know. I don't know anybody's names, but no, they just have there's all these videos on here. It's like they're bashing, calling Russians fascists, and then they're saying support Russian national unity.
Right, sounds like the Nationalist Socialist Party to me.
It is, yeah.
And,
it's the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia.
Well, you know, I
The
ain't got.
Liberal Democratic Party of Russia.
I have no problem with nationalism.
This is
Socialism,
their
I do.
Nazi ass
Yeah.
nationalist video. I didn't click it, but
That's
Yeah,
pretty.
yeah.
That's pretty insane.
Nationalism to me just means you're about your own country before.
Right, I have no
No.
problem with nationalism.
But it's when it becomes like national socialists, right? And then like national and almost, and I've always said like, and everyone obviously knows this, but like socialism, communism, and fascism is just like, 3 ugly sisters that all fucking have the same STD.
And now they hide it behind words like democracy and.
Yeah, like a democratic socialist.
Yeah.
Well,
Socialism.
the
It's
word
like,
democracy is
In itself, yeah,
Yeah.
in itself, it is a communist idea. It's like
well,
it's mob rule.
Mob rule. That's exactly what I
That
was
is
about
the
to
actual
say.
definition of it.
And this never was a democracy. This
Yeah.
is a republic,
Yeah.
if you can keep it.
Shit, they've been trying
But
to
what do
keep
we
it
hear from our politicians? This is a direct threat to democracy.
No, exactly.
They're
Yeah.
killing our democracy.
When, like Taylor just said, they
You got no
literally
democracy.
right.
Yeah.
Straight
No,
up.
I mean we've never had one. Bob's here. Come
They
on,
use
man,
it-
Bob.
They use it as the Ukrainian Insurgents Army flag.
Hey man.
What
The
the fuck?
Ukrainian
So they have like
Yeah,
a
see.
completely. That's crazy.
That's the army of Ukraine's flag. Is this red and black?
So you send that one to us as well.
Yeah.
And you know, the thing is
selling
that
that one.
what Taylor was just explaining was that these people outlawed political dissent, what did you say, political parties? Right?
Yeah, there's no competitive political parties.
No competitive political party, they're outlawed in Ukraine now.
Yes, there's no
So-
opposition.
So, you know,
Duh.
that's
So
interesting.
we need to support their democracy.
And we need to fund them with billions of dollars.
Cryptocurrency.
So they can fight the.
So they can funnel it back through FTX.
Yes.
STDs. I mean,
Exactly. We were just actually hinting towards that. We were hoping you would actually know the ins and outs of that situation.
It's a lot bigger story than you can imagine, actually.
Really.
It's all the billions of dollars going to Ukraine and being funneled back to the DNC. And
Yep.
our taxpayer money
And we had the
going
actual
into
proof
their
of
pockets.
this. How did we find this out, by the way?
when the guy went broke.
Yeah, it's a weird story. I haven't really got to the bottom of it, other than I know it's something they didn't want revealed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly
and they
seems
don't
that
take down rhinos. They're trying to spin it like it's all movie stars, Tom Brady, all these celebrities, you know. Nah, it's
Well, a bunch of them are running over each other trying to give the money back. Oh, we didn't. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I
I
haven't really dug into it, but I know it's big.
I know that one guy literally bought like a
Yeah.
$7 potato NFT and then called because there was so FTX went down or whatever, but you could still access it in the Bahamas. So they were buying NFTs and then selling them to people in the Bahamas for $10 million and then telling that person, just give me 9 million, you keep $1 million and I'm gonna take 9 million. I don't know how the hell they are getting these. I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm keeping the 10.
It's skinny
Did you
bullshit.
see those comedians when Twitter started booting their engineers out on the sidewalk? There's a couple of guys in boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and one of them has big frizzy hair.
Yeah.
Well, he showed up like in the Bahamas, wherever that FTX or whatever was going, and the media didn't recognize him. He's got a box, and he's
Oh my god.
oh, I just, just 2 weeks ago I got fired at Twitter, and I was hoping this would be the one. And they just like ate that shit up.
That's
Oh my
hilarious.
god. Yeah, I gotta tell my husband and wife. You know.
Yeah.
That's great.
God damn, that's hilarious.
Maybe you could fill in some blanks for us here about the fucking, when you're growing up and shit, of course there was like the whole programming for the Russia thing, but what about the Ukrainians? What did you know about the Ukrainians?
It was the Ukraine back then. It was part of the.
Okay, so I am right when I say the Ukraine.
But no, it's Ukraine now.
Okay.
Yeah, the Ukraine.
Was an area.
Well, let's see. I mean, yeah, it's a region, and it's when the USSR broke up, then Ukraine got its so-called independence, and the deal with Ukraine is that, as I investigate, it's the birthplace of the Khazarian mafia, who infiltrated all the royal families from the Rothschilds and central banks. It used to be called the land of the name stealers. So way back, let's see, this must have been in the 1800s or something, or maybe before. I'd have to look up the dates. When the Ottoman Empire, Turkey, and them were getting their shit together, and Greece and Russia all decided that we got to get rid of these fucks in Ukraine because they're just the name stealers. Like if you're traveling through that part of the Central Asia, they invite you in your house and give you food, and they ask you all these stories and what's your family like and where are you going, then they kill you, and then they send somebody off with your identity to steal whatever they could. Kind of like gypsies, but and at some period in time, the Tsar or the Khan of Ukraine, I can't remember his name, in order to try to survive, he decreed that all his subjects were Jews. So by decree, they all became the false Jews or the Khazarian Jews. Those are the ones,
yeah.
and they're the ones that went into Germany and stuff, and they're the ones that started the Rothschilds, and they're the ones who've been the parasite. It's been
Hold on, slow down.
So that's
These are his words. No.
the Ukraine is the deep state's playground with the biolabs. The coronavirus started in Ukraine in a place called, there's a biolab in a city called China. CHY-NA.
Oh, really? Okay.
And there's China this and China that, both had biolabs.
I think that's why Trump said it. He was.
Fuck yeah.
He's like fucking some
Fuck yeah.
QAnon
That's
shit.
why I always said China. The China. Yeah, and then you look at what's already been revealed is Metabiota, which is a company that Hunter Biden was associated with deeply, that tied into Kazakhstan or whatever, and they're the ones that sold all the media groups the banner that went in the death count, and basically it was like the mob going down the neighborhood and say, give us some money and we'll make sure, you know.
Does this have any likeness to what Cuba used to be?
No.
No?
Cuba
in the sense that it's their playground where they
Cuba was
launder
just a
their money.
pedophile playground, money laundering, the mafia, but it was more the mob and not a political thing.
And this is political mob.
The mob's
But-
money laundering.
But at this point, it's deep state and not
Well, I mean,
mob,
at this
so.
point, what's the difference? Because
There's
damn
not.
near every mob has control of the
Well,
government.
my
I
theory
mean, the
is
Mexican cartel.
my
runs
theory is
Mexico.
the Sicilians and the Italian mafia are probably the most patriotic group with the most at stake to make sure that we don't turn into a socialist hellhole.
Okay.
You know, and so now because they got so much at stake, and they went into normal investments in banking and all this shit, so they got a lot to lose, you know.
Yeah.
And then you got Trump. He knows who the mobsters are. He helped bring down, who was it, the Giovanni family or whatever in Jersey.
Bonanno.
Yeah, he was working with the FBI and shit, because he said, yeah, I've got to build these casinos, you know, and the mob's trying to shake me down, so if there's anything I can do to help you in this shit, I'll do it. And that was back in the 90s, you know.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Epstein thing in Miami. The
He
prosecutor
went to
there
the
went
FBI.
through a whole list of names to talk to people, and Trump's the only one that returned the call, and they said, we talked for hours, and he was very helpful and helped further investigation, you know, like, you know, he told us what the fuck was going on, you know.
All right. So what do we see coming out of this? Okay. So we just, had a massive red wave.
There was a red tsunami.
There was red tsunami at the house, son.
Well,
so
what they're not reporting is like how many of the state legislators went red.
no, that's fair.
And the whole
State
deal
laws.
that's been going on for decades, if you want to like narrow it down, it's been an attack against the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment guarantees the rights of the states to rule. That's what Roe versus Wade was all about. It had nothing to do
And
with
the Civil
abortion.
War.
It was whether the states had the right
You gave
to.
it federalists.
Yeah. So and so the socialists, that's their biggest threat is state rights, and everything else falls in place in their agenda if they can take it away from the states. And
So
so
Okay,
Red
so-
Wave got us a whole bunch of state legislators.
that's good. But
Which also means that
with-
the majority of judges in the country, right, have been filled by Trump.
Well, Trump appointed nearly 400 federal judges, which is
Not all of them were gold standard.
Well,
However,
no, I mean it's never is.
You
but-
get what you get.
but he packed them with Republican judges.
Constitutionalist.
Mhm. And
That's what-
locally, and then also,
Federal judges.
how could you call yourself anything else, by the way, if you're a judge other than a
Well, there is
constitutionalist?
that.
Well,
Well, there's the
They damn
religious
sure
ones
do.
that are doing it off the Bible and not the Constitution,
Oh, well,
because
yeah.
they're all about the "in God we trust" part of the courtroom thing.
Well, hold on,
You know,
for the record,
I'm not really seeing a lot of that, but there is a narrative being built of the Christian militia, nationalist, and the pendulum's going to swing so far to the right that we'll be wanting to hang everybody who doesn't swear on the Bible but it ain't gonna go.
But one thing is that they like to teach us that there was
You
a
can swear on the
separation.
Constitution.
They like to
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's
They
better.
like to teach us that there was a separation of church and state, but if you actually like look into it, there was no separation of church and state because every colony / state already had an established church.
All it said was you can worship who you want to worship. It was free worship.
Yeah.
That was, so the state can't tell you that this is a state religion and you can't be Catholic or you can't be Druid or whatever
Yeah.
the hell it is,
Yeah.
That's really the way it boils down.
But I mean, and if you look at like who was, like my ancestor who signed the Constitution, he was like a Puritan, and so like, and if you look, that New Hampshire was just Puritans at the time. Nobody wasn't a Puritan because it was just so. In like Pennsylvania, I don't know if they were a colony, but I don't think they were. But they were Quakers. And everybody had their own like established church, so they never even said separation of church and state because they didn't even think of it.
Well,
You know what I mean? So, so
so
just in regards to like running on the Bible, not saying that that's what they should be doing that, but I do think that
And
in
all
regards to that.
the religious
The reason-
incantations of the Constitution and the Founding Fathers was just a regard for the Creator and a higher divine self. There's a lot of, you can get into some really deep shit when you look at the context of what was going on at the time with the central banks, the Illuminati, those kind of things, the movement, all the occult symbolisms that were going on in the building in D.C. and stuff.
Yeah.
They were, national treasures.
Well,
He
we're
talks a
finding
lot
out
about that too.
yeah.
He sent me, how many things have you showed me and sent me of just like, all of the buildings look the same?
who knows? They could have been built before
If
the founding of the
you
country
go
anyway.
above JFK's grave
Mm-hmm.
and look at it, it's a circle with a sidewalk coming out, and it looks like a giant Q.
Yeah.
Gee, that's a-
Go look at
Right?
it. Go look
That's
at
interesting.
it. Q is the highest
I've
security
always said
clearance.
Well, yeah.
If you go
I've
back,
always said it was a hate letter because it's the least used letter.
no, the Q Gospels. You know about the Q Gospels?
No, I don't.
There you go. Write it down. Go research it.
Write it
It'll
down.
be a
All
test.
Fuck
right,
your
all
homework.
right.
All right, so what do you think? Okay, with this election,
that
it's
is
Red
very
Tsunami.
interesting. There are the Q Gospels, which were the original, supposedly transcripts from about the time of Christ, that were just transcripts of conversations with Christ, his words. And there's been debate whether it's legit or not, but the Germans were all over it. It's been around for a long time, and it's still a very interesting thing just to dig into.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
maybe we'll review it here.
the Q Gospels.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Gospels of Q. I don't know if there's any connection to any of it, but are there coincidences?
Well, I noticed that I don't think that the Republican Party's coordinated in New Mexico very much because
Oh no, you got
list
Steve
of-
Pierce running the
but the ballot,
yeah.
half or more of all the options were Democrat only, or
Nice.
there was only the
Or
person that was
and then
there.
there'd be like a libertarian.
No, see that's
Yeah, there
that
was, there was
shit is-
literally
that,
most
that's
of it
what
had
makes
no
New
option.
Mexico unique. You got Steve Pierce running the RNC, and he ran for governor against Grisham when she first ran. And he's a rhino slacker, and he's getting his money kicked back here and there. It's the old New Mexico multi-generational corruption shit.
Yeah.
So,
I've always said,
so you can't compare New Mexico to any other state except maybe West Virginia. Or
I've always
Arkansas.
said, now this is gonna sound like bigoted
Yeah.
and like racist, but I've always said that anyone with like Lujan, Pacheco's a good one, Anaya, like any of those names, you don't, in my opinion, you should not be in public office. Because your family's been here for like 20 years.
I read
It
it.
shouldn't be that literally everyone I talk to that works for the state at all has names of that.
Exactly,
But
like
it
Jesus
is what it
Christ.
is, it's,
Well, that's
it's the
I hold my hand. I read
It was their country.
I know.
historical account on Kit Carson, New
Gringos
Mexico,
Come
in the
take the
West.
Spanish
Yeah.
stuff.
And it said, and when the Americans came in like 1846, the saying was,
Because the
"It's
Anglos-
great to be a New
they would
Mexican
be
if,
going,
if your last
fuck these
name's
beaners.
Lujan, and if it's not, or no, if your last name's Vigil, and if it's not Vigil, then at least know a Lujan." and that was 1846.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah, so we're talking, and this is, and if you think about New Mexico, it's unique in the fact that it's like the oldest settled part of North America.
Yeah.
You know, in the United States, lower 48. I mean, when Santa Fe and the gold was running in and out here, who knows what else was going on out here? They were just like getting Jamestown rolling and shit. You know?
Yeah, so you are correct and even all the stories that we tell. New Mexico is unique in the sense that it is kind of fucking outlaw already, and
Well,
everybody in the state is fucking worthless. The government sucks.
I had someone to tell me that New Mexico is like the mob, corrupt, no man's land playgrounds. Like Ojo Caliente was the place, since there was water and it was such a nice spot that different Indian tribes that were always like grabbing slaves off each other and shit.
Yeah.
You could always go to Ojo and it was like a no man's land. That you just don't start shit there. And we all
Well, it's kind of like the watering holes.
Yeah,
the
and it's
lions,
just
the
like-
zebras,
yeah,
everything
there's
at the
also-
same time,
Well,
too.
the whole state of New Mexico's that way with the
Pottery
elite and the
and
corrupt.
arrowhead.
They can send their kids to school out here. They can
You
do
ever been
whatever
up
they
above?
want.
No.
You're not going to get whacked if
Fucking
they're going to
obsidian
UNM
and
or
pottery.
something like that. It's like a.
Oh man.
I was
Broken
told it
pieces
was
because
sort
they've
of
been
like
riding
a,
the horses up there and shit.
Yeah.
You know, but
just implied consent that this
you
is
go
our
up there and get
playground.
a
That's why you
bucket
have
basket
Zorro
and
Ranch over here.
charge
We have no
pottery
idea
charge 20
what
minutes.
the whole
Yeah.
Zorro
And
Ranch
all
thing
kinds
is.
of
A Zorro
obsidian
Ranch
because they were
crow
hauling that
flies.
in.
You
And
know,
they had little factories
17
up there,
miles
man,
that way.
where they were
Mom, we
making
got
all
too
that
many
shit.
Yeah.
The
Why? It's
The
all
grades
ties together.
of pottery
Yeah.
go all the way from that.
They just
I
talk
mean-
about them, but
That black.
I mean, you
with
can't
the
talk about
silver
New
flecks and
Mexico
stuff in it.
in
all
the way
the
it is
to
without
the
bringing that up.
yeah, yeah.
Which
Oh,
Richardson
okay, man.
just
Nice.
got unveiled
That's
on the list of Epstein's clients, and he said, "Oh, I'll get my lawyers on that."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
several other Navy
Space, you
CEOs
go
and stuff just last week. You know,
to
so the
the
names
top
are coming out off of
It's
Epstein's
amazing
client
up
list.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
uh,
actually
Zorro
got
Ranch,
a little
I mean,
vein about that
God,
wide
who knows? I
of
mean,
gold.
let's just get backhoes
Oh, yeah.
and go over there and dig
Why
it
it's
up.
still there? I have no idea.
No, I tried to get a.
And then you got the
This
Church of
little-
Scientology
Yeah.
with their huge underground bunker shit right over there by Trimatina, west of
Yeah, I tried to get a
east,
fucking.
east of Vegas.
I tried to get a tour of I was trying to get me and this guy into Jeffrey Epstein's ranch. I like hit up the realtor because it's
Oh
for
yeah,
sale.
no, you got.
And I was trying. I was like, we're gonna make a movie.
gotta be
and we just need to
pre-qualified.
like,
Yeah.
oh, I own a production company
Yeah.
though. So I was like, I got all this shit.
You know, you gotta send photos of you like murdering babies together.
No. What the fuck are you talking about? It's the goddamn realtor. Well, actually, no, it wasn't the realtor. It was like because it was absorbed by the state or something. So I was
Yeah.
talking to like a county lady,
Yeah,
and yeah, she wasn't down.
Yeah, it was.
She
bad.
didn't. I was basically just like, we just want to tour the facility so we can kind of like just base our set off of the area
You
correctly.
should have done the cowboy town. Should have hit her up for the cowboy town, and then while you were there,
Well,
go on over to the
I said
main
we
house.
specifically. I said the house would be nice to see, but we really want to see the airstrip, and that was kind of so that way it didn't seem like we were pushing to see that.
Which
house
is
too
right
much.
next to the little fake hacienda town they got where
Yeah.
the Clintons were vacationing
Yeah.
all the way
Oh,
up
that's
to
so that's the cowboy town.
2015.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
Now
was
you
their
know,
vacation home.
They have this new thing out called the Jetson One.
No.
Well, it's a
Oh yeah, this
With
little
the plane?
portable flying.
it's a drone
Okay.
that you
You
ride
can-
in.
Oh, well, there we go.
So there you go. You don't need to know how to fly a helicopter.
Shoot,
Just
I
jump
just
in this
did that.
motherfucker and go over there and land.
Yeah,
Well, me and this guy.
check out Trimatina and the Scientology shit. You can Google it. It'll tell you right there on Google that the Scientology. If you look at Google Earth, there's a concrete landing strip big enough for a 747 on top of that mesa. The only roads in and out of that place are just dirt roads. You fly in, and then it goes up
They
against
pick
a
you up.
cliff face or switchback road. And the last time I looked, there was like a 2.5-story chateau style house, and it's set on like a semicircle pad, and the whole building would rotate open, and there was the tunnel opening there. And then just a year ago or so, after I heard the feds came out and a whole caravan of black SUVs heading east out of there for whatever reason, somebody got some great drone footage over right up there because it's on a mesa. You can't see anything as you
Okay.
drive by, you know. And
Yeah.
And you got security. They'll just dump your body at the gate.
Yeah.
Which has happened before if you go on there. But you can see it all from the air, and now I looked it up. It's on Google and all this shit. They don't hide it. It's their hall of records. It's the whole weird, what's happening now is the elite, and I'm starting to understand that they've got a lot more real estate under the earth than there is on top.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
And
so
they've been
funny.
doing it
It's
for a
funny that
long
you say that.
time.
This is kind of random, but I heard this Stephen Hawking. They're talking
Random? What the hell are you talking? There's no random.
about. I was
That's an
I was
illusion.
listening to this interview with Stephen Hawking, and they were like talking about overpopulation, and he was like, "Our planet is so underpopulated in regards to what they refer to as overpopulation." He was like, "We're not even close."
Yeah.
He was like, "We could comfortably fit 24 billion people on this planet." And they're like, "How the hell did you do that?" And he's like, "You tunnel in." He was like, "We're the only animal that builds up." He was like, "We're one of the only animals that builds up." He was like, "Most animals burrow in." He was like, "You know how much space is underneath us?" It was just a funny conversation. He
You
just,
know Stephen Hawking was at Epstein Island?
Really?
He was
dude,
what?
I mean, shit.
Well,
I don't blame.
They invited him to this conference in Cuba, and Ghislaine Maxwell, she had a submarine license.
I don't blame him for being curious. I blame him for anything that
Here's-
happened.
yeah.
But if he heard, "Oh, dude, I got some prostitutes," if that's all he heard, you're Stephen Hawking, dude. Come on, like you're not gonna put.
They were.
You talk with fucking face twitches.
It was a honeypot, so they reel in everybody for credibility.
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of that whole shit. There's a whole aspect to Atlantis and the ruins off of Cuba
Okay.
and down
You
in
know,
that
they don't
area.
even need that stuff anymore. They got
the only place I've seen that touch upon
They
the
can-
details.
They can
with Joe
make
Farrell,
it look like you're
dark
doing anything.
journalist, and
you know?
it's on
Gosh,
YouTube.
ridiculous.
The Hot Zone.
What
It,
the
it
fuck?
ties in fucking all kinds of Kennedy, Hemingway, and everything else that's going on down there. But Hawkins got invited to this conference that Maxwell had for her Terramar Foundation, saving the ocean or claiming land when it rises or whatever the fuck it was. And so they gave him a ride on the submarine. Of course, the ruins are right off the tip of Cuba, and there's the island that James Biden owns is like just down next door to Little St. James, and it's got an old submarine base in it.
Two of the islands have.
Yeah.
So-
And I mean, it's just like, what we don't understand is that these guys are like a breakaway society. They're the elite L-lights, I call them, the lights. And they got their shit going. And then I think there's a more advanced breakaway society that's going like, hey, we're the fuck out of here. We get out of here anytime we want. We don't give a fuck what's going on. And you ain't getting our shit. And all the underground stuff, So it's not just underground military bunkers. I would truly believe it.
Cities.
Yeah. We're growing food. We're doing everything. It's all fucking cool.
Like, are we talking like inner
that there's
Earth?
people living and being born and dying down there and never get to the surface.
So you're talking the inner Earth, or you're talking a little more,
Just
or a
down
little
there.
less,
How far
Just
deep?
down there.
How far deep do you have to be?
like 6 feet.
Well, they've had 10,000 years to do it in.
Well,
Right.
So right over here, like
Even
just a
longer.
couple miles, probably in a straight line, there's like a big round tank and then a concrete wall coming out of it straight south, and then two different water pools on either side, and then there's like a giant outside garden facility, and then a parking lot, and there's no cars. You can never see a car there, and there's outside tennis courts that are all fenced in with lights shining down.
And where's this?
About 2 miles this way, and but it's in the middle of the desert. So it's a water filtration thing and a farm, and then there's like two. They look like circuitry. There's these two identical buildings that have big AC units on the roof, and then there's garages where the cars can park in, so
Yeah.
you never see a vehicle on the surface.
So that sounds like some rich motherfucker private little underground bunker shit
Well,
he's
dude,
got going
yeah, but
in
it's
Mexico.
they have people stuck there forever because they have to exercise them outside with these tennis courts and the outside gardens. It looks like a camp with gardens and a tennis court,
Well, there
and
you go.
everybody's underground and there's water
It's
filtration.
a prison.
tanks.
It's a prison.
It's right outside. It's
It's a
literally
fucking-
3 miles from
So what do they know that we don't know that makes you think you better be under the surface of the earth? What's
Yeah, there's
coming?
there's
a
a
whole
lot
colony.
of reports right now of people dumping a lot of money into fucking bunkers and shit.
Epstein left some there.
Who was it?
I mean, really, it's just like if it goes totally Mad Max.
Dude, there was probably some kind of circuitry where the door's shut and the concrete poured over it and leveled across.
Yeah.
They're all this down there.
No, this
Egyptian
is
tuned in.
like a museum to all the sick and twisted shit. That's what Zorro Ranch is. Let's not look at it. Let's not go there. We just, it's New Mexico, state land all the way around it. We got our people there, gatekeepers.
Well, but that's the thing. That's what I was saying though. Is
Yeah.
that it's for sale.
Well, yeah.
So some rich dude's gonna go buy some place for like
It's all
Jeffrey Epstein did his.
It's a lot deeper.
I'm surprised the
than
King
that.
family don't just take it back.
Yeah, the dudes who own the Zorro Ranch.
It's for sale, but I'm sure it's only to qualified buyers.
Oh
Yeah, in like an auction room.
And qualified, it doesn't
Did
mean
you ever
just
see
got the
the?
money.
You ever see the
Damn
meme
it.
where it's like somebody finally bought the Zorro Ranch and it's Epstein with a turban and a fucking beard, like
Is
an Arab.
anybody here on Twitter?
No.
Damn.
I think
Because we ought
aren't
to
you or no?
No.
Okay.
we ought to hit up Elon Musk and suggest that he buys Zorro Ranch.
Oh,
If
I don't
he's-
want that
if-
guy out here, dude.
I do.
Why not?
Well, you don't want him out here. He's like right there. And
Fuck
he's
out of here.
there.
You got enough fucking. Yeah, you can fucking go up there. Don't be right down the road from me, dude. Get
Why
out of
not?
we do have enough crazy motherfuckers in this.
Yeah,
state.
dude.
He's not crazy. He's just rich.
If you look at Elon Musk,
What do you think about him buying Twitter?
I think it's
fucking
great.
is awesome, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking
Eat
A, man.
shit in their post toasties.
Yeah.
He goes toasties.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god.
Anybody gonna do that?
It's not done yet. No, it's beautiful.
So funny.
In 5G war, we're in 5G warfare.
Warfare, son.
Or 5D warfare.
5D.
Yeah.
Fifth dimensional.
Which if
Hold on,
you...
what were you guys back
Fifth
then?
generational
What was your-
and
what was your
fifth
war?
dimensional,
What kind of
son.
warfare were they utilizing against?
It was the Cold War back then.
Yeah.
We were in the Cold War. I remember. It got pretty warm there around the Cuban Missile Crisis, and
That thing.
you
hanging
know
on the
everybody
wall.
was kind of pretty well
It's
like
driving me nuts.
adults and tight.
Oh yeah, well it's
Everybody
yeah.
kind of watching the news, not
Backwards
saying
to the
a
bottom.
whole lot. So
Well,
you
it
knew some
just-
shit was going on.
And
Oh, trips me out, man.
A lot of
I don't know
a
why
lot
that
of
way, but
activity in the air, and that's there's a long story there. Then the rest of the time is we hate the Russians and
So-
we're racing to the moon.
So
That-
hold on. I'm gonna stop you there. During this time, you guys growing up, what did you guys ever hear about election meddling? Or election? You guys remember like
Was gerrymandering?
Let's see. The first
it was all small.
first
small
well the
potatoes?
first thing that I remember was in 1960 Nixon and Kennedy, and it came down to Hawaii, which had just become a state, and it's still debated as to whether it actually became a state or not.
Or it had been ratified
So-
at that point.
Yeah, well, it had been because we had 50 stars. Alaska and Hawaii came
That's
in
what-
like
that's what
58 or
matters.
so. But and then the whole election between Nixon and Kennedy actually came down to like 1 or 2 electoral votes from Hawaii, and those results didn't come in late, and there was all kinds of shady shit went on, but Kennedy won.
And Nixon was
Yeah,
pissed.
and so
What happened?
Oh, he was just like,
Well,
he was Eisenhower's vice president.
and see the media. That's where you
Yeah,
were
sorry,
wrong.
repeat that thing. What
And
did
that's
you
his
say?
turn.
And that
Eisenhower was what?
Vice president was
And then-
Nixon.
Nixon.
Oh, okay.
So he was in line. It was his turn. And so did he display any acts of fucking?
Just like every time you saw him, he was like just pissed off.
Yeah.
No, he went back.
Nobody liked him. Would everybody laugh at him?
He
I
felt,
did.
No, not really. He didn't.
laughed at him.
Nixon's. See, again, it's all media perception, story or tell. Like in the debates with Kennedy, and it's black and white, first televised presidential
Yeah, we
debate.
never- yeah.
And Nixon had a heavy beard, and you could see his 5 o'clock shadow. But the media was already like getting behind Kennedy, and you could see that there. Nixon's baggage was he was the right-hand man of Joe McCarthy in the 50s. And the
killer.
communist witch hunts and calling everybody out. Which, as you dig into that, one, McCarthy was brilliant, had a photographic memory. He was like the head of the House Intelligence Committee. He was calling all these people out for being socialist communists.
And a lot of them were.
And you look back, and he was exactly
That's
dead
right. Yeah,
on.
he was right, yeah.
But he was real fucking like in your face shit. And then he started like prying the lid off Roswell and the alien shit that was going
So
on.
hold on. Do you think that fucking
And
Kennedy?
Nixon was his right-hand man through all that, like right.
You had
next to
three people that their personalities kind of melded, and that was McCarthy, Nixon, and Hoover.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Even
Yeah,
Hoover?
they were all like
anti.
really intense,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
pissed
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Like they read the Communist Manifesto
Yeah.
and all that shit and kind of saw. See, because you go back.
Were they all Republicans?
No.
No. Hoover was around. He was appointed FBI director under.
Wait, hold on. Were any of them Republicans?
President Hoover, I think.
Yeah, huh?
Were any of now that I'm thinking, were any of them Republicans?
Well, Nixon was.
Nixon was.
That's okay. Yeah, yeah.
Eisenhower served 8 years.
Kennedy
He
was a Democrat.
But then McCarthy was.
But McCarthy,
was he-
no, yeah,
was
yeah.
just
So
a
out of Nixon,
campaign-
McCarthy, and
McCarthy was.
I don't remember.
He was from Wisconsin.
He was a rep or he was a.
I think he might have been a Democrat.
Yeah.
okay.
No. If Nixon was his right hand man, he was a Republican. I would have to say.
And is it so? Is this still at the point where the loser became the vice president, or when did that change? Did that change within your guys'?
Oh,
or was
that only hung around for a minute, where like
Yeah.
the runner-up was vice president. I think.
Yeah.
That was-
That's like the
Which-
begin. That's like forefathers shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the moral compass hadn't fucking shifted that drastically. So at that point, they probably debated so much that they're like, this is really a good opponent. Maybe I want to take him on as my vice. Maybe it was that kind
Well, I
of
think
like honorable.
Well, it was the rule.
Well, the
What's the
whole,
rule?
the whole,
Yeah. The
whole-
loser of the like main vote
That's
between the
fucked
Democrat and the Republican became the vice president.
you can have no understanding of anything, including JFK's assassination, without first going to the UFO files.
Okay.
Period.
Alright.
The more I've learned about that, especially a lot more recently.
But do you think that
Yeah.
when JFK was inducted into the presidency, right? And you say this is the first evidence that you've seen of swaying. Like Pop said, it was small potatoes at the time, so it was more of a swaying or
So an
convincing.
election,
Most of what you heard about
Yeah.
as far as election meddling and shit like that was like
Small.
states,
Local,
like
yeah.
Louisiana.
yeah, exactly.
Louisiana.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or the blacks.
Fuck Louisiana.
That's
It was
a-
like George Wallace and,
Yeah.
one guy who was a fucking dick and,
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
but
what you mean by
kept getting
small.
elected.
Suppressing
Yeah.
the votes in the South, and
Yeah.
it was all there.
It didn't-
It's
it
not,
didn't
it's
get-
really not
Nothing new.
The machines were the big switch.
It was national shit was going on.
Mhm.
We just didn't get it.
Yeah.
But was Kennedy a part of the establishment? You think he was establishment when he was brought in? But then he found out?
Well, his dad was head of the SEC, the first SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, in the 30s and shit. And then he was running booze
around.
before then, and the whole it's all family heritage.
They like to
shit.
say Irish mafia, but he wasn't really Irish mafia. He was Irish,
Yeah,
and he got in on running
Yeah.
booze from Canada into the United States.
There was a,
He had
the more I
stroke.
look at the history that goes back into the 1800s, and the beginnings of the corporations and stuff, and how they were all formed in like 1902, and how they came about, and the foundations, the Ford Foundation, Carnegie, and all this. It was all a plan that was set up as they poured their wealth into commercialism, and then funding the Bolsheviks, and they've been going after Russia for a long time, because Russia actually they had more to do with the way the Civil War went down than anybody, because at that time you had all these armies in Europe and everybody lining up to come in and
Back to South.
and Russia just said, hey, stand down, we got our Navy on both coasts, Pacific, and we got our armies ready to run into Europe, so just hands off, because that was going to be their big takeover, they still managed it.
I don't want to interrupt you, Bob.
600,000 Americans killed
I don't want
themselves.
to interrupt you. I'm just gonna warn everybody this champagne's gonna pop. So.
Yeah, I
there
don't
you
have
go.
fucking PTSD.
He's like, I'm out of
Hey.
here.
You don't point it at me.
I'm gonna go out here and blow my nose.
Yes, please.
For a second, I was like, I can go outside. I thought, because one time that happened at a party with Hefe. That's why I wanted to warn
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Is Hefe fucking? I was at a party with Hefe. Someone popped a champagne bottle. Hefe hit the fucking floor, dude. That was the first time I ever seen anybody like react like because of
Damn.
PTSD. That's why I wanted to warn everybody.
I have PTSD.
Do you?
Yeah.
Alright, let's just get it over with quick.
It hit me on the shoulder, man.
Did it? I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Bob.
really?
At least it didn't hit you.
Right off of here.
Well, if you want some, dude, can we get a slow?
Weird shit.
You guys heard about how fucking Kim Jong-un killed his brother, right?
Yeah, I've heard that story.
Have you heard this?
No.
So, like, basically this guy approached this woman and was like, yo, we're gonna, like, prank a bunch of people and, like, do all this stuff or whatever, and we're gonna get it on camera. But the camera's gonna be hidden, and it's like it's a hidden camera TV show, and we're gonna prank a bunch of people. They're like, alright, so they do, long story short, they do a bunch of different pranks, a bunch of different people. She never saw the cameras, she just assumed there was a hidden camera show, she just figured the cameras were there. So he hands her a rag, and he's like, yo, go put this over that man's face, and that's the prank, and that's the end of your
But
part,
it
or whatever.
was his brother, and
It was his brother, and it was what, sorry?
Assassination.
Oh, okay, yeah, I don't know what the chemical was, but yeah, that's how they assassinated Kim Jong-un's brother. Is she ran up with a rag and shoved it in his face, and he inhaled, like,
There were actually
There were no
two
cameras.
women convicted of
anthrax or
that.
whatever. Huh?
You know,
There were actually two
again,
women
it's all
convicted of
television.
Yeah,
I would
no,
never-
that's the thing.
I
is
don't know
he-
what the fuck happened.
this is number
CGI,
three.
man,
Yeah.
they can make anything happen.
Sorry, what
We're,
did
you
you
know, Disney and everything else.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
that's
best
the thing.
just to, it's a simulation.
Well, all their
We're here to
assassinations in fucking
Evolve out of it.
I'm waiting for him to fucking.
You're way ahead. You came back
What?
again. That's like fucked up.
I'm waiting for him to make Jesus
You
come
had your
back
ticket
out
out
of
of
the
your trailer. And
So what about what's going on in Brazil
what about it?
with fucking?
With Mardi Gras.
It's modeling what we should see here because one, it's a machine issue. Same machine, same company, same bullshit. Two, it was totally fraudulent.
seems to be.
You know,
I don't know.
this is just my theory. you know.
Yeah,
But we won't see those kind of crowds until they come after the guns, and that'll be probably the red line here. The United States will be the last to go to the streets, but it'll be the most impactful, and it didn't have to be that way.
But it will.
But yeah, they're getting
But it's-
ready.
yeah,
but
but
you got
unfortunately it's
Biden.
gonna be.
You're getting Biden he's gonna put his John Hancock on, signing away the whole Constitution with the
Yeah.
World Health Organization and the jab passports.
It's for your own
Yeah,
good.
that was on
I
COP
mean,
27, right?
that takes away your guns and everything. You people don't understand. That's what the Trans-Pacific Partnership was going to do. That Trump nixed like first day in office, the TPP, and you had Hillary staged to win, and right up to then you had Kerry and the rest of them had the world.
Ready to go.
The UN Small Arms Treaty that's going to take away, citizens' guns and usurp the Constitution. That was all staged.
and this all has to do with the WHO pandemic treaty.
It's all got
Joe
to
Biden's
do.
going to sign.
It's all got to do with some weird obsession they have that they
Globalism.
need to kill a whole bunch of people on the planet before whatever's coming that's going to whack Earth. I don't understand it. Why don't they just let us run
Well,
happy
they just
right
let us
into
get
the
whacked.
time the comet hits? You
Yeah.
know, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so you think that they're just like
Saving all the fuel for the
blatantly
aliens.
Yeah.
cheating, blatantly
Something,
doing this
dude.
thing.
It's really all about one world government and one. If you listen to the race people compared to the political people, what you're going to hear is there's only going to be one race, the human race. There's only going to be one government, one world government.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's nothing new.
Hey, just
Well, I mean, it's the same shit
Think-
you guys were telling us when we were kids.
think of it
You
this
know what I
way.
mean? It's just getting played out in real time now.
6,000 years ago, there was these dudes, they were like the tribal leaders of the sheep herders and shit. And we had a demon god that was like kicking ass for us if we did what he said to do. You know, and we could go murder cities and smash babies' heads on the walls and shit, as long as we did what Yahweh said. And then we sat around, we were drinking beer and wine and all this shit, pretty good about it. And we thought, you know what? We ought to come up with a plan that will control the world from here on out.
Yeah.
And
been working on it ever since.
And then we just, well, we do this and this and this and pass this along to the next one. You know, we'll have the occult knowledge and we know what's really going on here and what this
But
really
fucking
means.
rednecks been fucking their game up forever.
What do you mean?
This is what I'm saying, man. It's
So they've been running the
rebels.
shit.
What do you
I had
mean?
an
They've been
orange
oh,
light.
you
Did
mean
you
fucking
grab-
up their game?
you
I see
had
what you're saying.
orange light?
I thought you meant like the rednecks were fucking up their own game.
No.
Yeah. Like
When I say rednecks, I mean
Orange light.
dissenters.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, what do you think was the biggest in
Black.
their pant in their
I want my orange lighter back.
Oh, I have it right here. Sorry, my
Oh, there it
apologies.
is.
I didn't-
Want my orange?
No, that's Cody's.
Well, I have another.
That's
There's
good.
another.
There's
one.
one right there.
That's mine.
I have a
Everybody's
blue
got
red.
an orange
See,
lighter.
this is why I made the
You
lighter
guys
one.
don't plan very well, do you?
Yeah, uncoordinated completely.
I have a blue one. Where's my
Yeah,
blue
mine's
one?
got a big tear in the back of it.
That's a red one.
I probably got it in a different pocket or something.
No,
there it
it's
is. Yeah,
probably
I do.
close.
Son of a bitch.
It's
You know,
all me.
Bob.
But I know, you know.
Guys were kids. Were you guys taught the same bullshit about Thanksgiving that we were taught, where it was like,
Oh, the pilgrims and shit. Yeah, the Indians, all that.
no, they're just massacred and da-da-da, like the new leftist shit that we kind of were told towards the end of our childhood. Because I was taught the friendly Thanksgiving is what, and then towards when we were like leaving high school, it was like, we butchered them, we're fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Everybody knew about the Trail of Tears, and there's a lot. I mean, you know,
Everybody
I was
butchered
born in the
everybody, man.
50s.
We've been butchering motherfuckers
from the
since
time
day
I
one.
was born to when the Indians were still being herded around.
Everybody cries
It's
about
closer
it.
than
Like,
from
poor
when I was
us.
born to now.
Or everybody.
You know,
Yeah.
so they were still, you know, that's one thing people, to have an understanding of like American history, you know, in 200 years we went from horse and buggy to CERN, you know, I mean, geez. Look what's another 200 years. Elon Musk is going to have the new transhumanism versus the Klaus Schwab transhumanism. You know, where we're going to, as long as things maintain, we'll be all wired up and shit. And that's just the way it is.
It'd be cool.
That'll be cool. You can put my consciousness in a android body of my choice.
Or in a little bottle to keep on the shelf.
And
But is it
as
you?
long as they give me an on and off switch to the whole fucking thing. You know, I don't know. I mean, really, you know, we're in a sci-fi world. It's almost like a giant
Well,
civilization.
see, that's why they
Civilization.
feel like they need to kill a certain amount of the population off, because what they are going to do, transhumanism, they're going to live forever.
That's their plan.
You think it's going to be in a computer server? Or you think
Whatever it takes, man.
Whatever it takes, they'll figure out
They'll
a way
have
to
backups.
take their
Yeah.
essence, soul, whatever you want to call.
Do you think
And
it'll
put it
really
in-
be
see
that,
that
or is
movie?
it a cop? Are they going to accidentally just copy?
You ever see that
themselves?
movie
They
Vanilla
think-
Sky?
What if they think it's? What if they actually
Oh,
think
man.
they're downloading themselves, but it's just a copy of themselves, and then they die, and then like the copy of themselves lives on?
Exactly.
It doesn't matter to them. To
It
them,
does.
it's still the
fucking
same thing.
matters.
Somebody's
to me.
gonna try that shit anyway.
Dude.
But see, the thing about
Right.
it is, if they can accomplish that, then what do they fucking need all of us monkeys running around for?
That's why we gotta
To get
stop
in the
them.
fucking way,
That's why we gotta
take
stop
the
them, right?
resources, and
Well, I think it'd be the other way around. I think they want us living forever in the servers. I think they want us to relinquish our physical bodies and like.
well, we already
take
did
your
that,
soul
man. You ever
into
seen The
server.
Matrix?
I think we're cattle.
Yeah, maybe.
We're livestock.
Light it up.
They're calling the herd.
Alright, dude.
And then
Do you want me to light it up,
and,
then?
and you
Oh my God.
look at the gene pool that's going to survive out of this. The non-jabbers, the independent-minded, the sovereign-minded,
rebels.
the ones with the DNA that still got the God gene and shit. That's what's going to
Maybe.
be left, and that's the stock that they want. It's like when you're breeding cows and shit, you know. You want to get rid of all the weak ones and
That's all,
weak-minded,
you know.
and the weak-minded, and the ones that just
This
follow
certainly
along.
God's view, like
Yeah.
Jewish people or
This
something.
certainly has crossed my mind. I've kind of alluded to the idea of it, but it's like it really
We're the
is
super
like,
race, man.
they're all jumping off of a cliff and like going for all this shit and killing their kids and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
chopping their genitalia off so
Sure.
they can't have kids. They're doing this whole thing and we're over here like, yo, eventually
fucked
it
up.
seems like a plan to just get rid of all the gullible, non-individualists.
It certainly,
one thing that-
it certainly can be looked at that way.
It's
One
certainly
thing-
what's happening.
One thing Cody had brought up one
Yeah.
time was the fact that Republicans like almost automatically win because they're not having kids. You know, like sure they could like make themselves into robots and like go to another planet, but like odds are like we're probably just gonna be the ones who end up fucking having kids and inheriting the planet if that's the case.
Pretty
Eventually.
much.
Eventually.
You know, meat doesn't mean.
Yeah, I'm not saying within our lifetime, but I mean
And
that's
that's
what
Think of it this
feasible.
way: the meat doesn't mean weak.
Right.
That means
No, yeah.
That's just you're
Capable
quiet.
and-
You're quiet. You're just like you're sitting
still
back
capable.
looking at this shit and say, yeah, right. You know.
Yeah,
this is
the ones
why
who will
it's
turn
so-
the other cheek.
Yeah,
This
right.
is why it's so important for them to get our children. You know, because they're
But
not
it's-
having children, but they want to infect ours. And you see what happens when these Republicans send their kids off to college.
Well, it's a death call. You know, you got to realize it's a feeding the. There's multiple names for it. But
Evil.
feeding the evil. The evil is man turning away from God. God is just like the fucking fact you're here. Can't you open your eyes and see the fact that? I mean, look at this. You know?
Okay, well, if,
You know,
okay,
we
leading
don't know all the answers, but look at this.
leading into the God aspect, have you guys heard about the Euphrates River?
The drying
The
up.
Euphrates
yeah.
River's like dried the
Yeah.
fuck up.
And
Yeah.
the four
Which is-
fallen angels.
For fallen
Yeah.
angels,
Have
dude.
you
And
seen
there's-
it?
and they're unveiling like all kinds of like
yeah.
catacombs, man-made catacombs.
Did
like,
you
that
hear
were-
the noises
I didn't.
coming from the tunnel?
No.
Yeah, there's a the tunnel has 4 pillars in front of the opening, and so they're checking it out.
Exactly where is this?
In the
Anybody got-
Euphrates River,
Well, I mean,
in the
that runs-
basin. What
that
was
runs-
the?
I mean, I think the
that runs
Euphrates
all the way
is
into
so
Turkey.
long.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a long river.
It's in
I don't know
Iraq.
exactly where on the river.
the Iraqi part of the Euphrates.
I think.
Yeah.
But I,
So-
Well, you know, they found all those huge underground cities in Turkey and shit.
But they-
We've had to go underground
they-
before.
Put a microphone in the mouth of the cave, and there's all these really weird fucking noises coming out of there, man. Like
Wow.
and chains rattling, and
Pits of hell, man, the abyss.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bad.
You know,
you know the story is
Yeah.
God put chained
Yeah,
4
yeah.
fallen
And
angels.
well, I don't know the story. What's the
No, you
story?
gotta tell me the fucking story.
Revelation.
The whole fallen angels thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? There were a bunch of them. But these 4 are called the destroyers, and he supposedly chained them and buried them in a cavern underneath the Euphrates River.
That's right.
And at the end of times, at the apocalypse,
When the river.
God buried
when the river dries up and some other things that have happened,
They hop on horses.
they get released and they destroy every fucking thing.
But you got to look at all the dams they build upstream.
Yeah.
You know, there's reasons why it dry. They're
But
running.
that doesn't
They're
really.
using the Book of Revelation to run their shit on us. so-
Exactly. That's the thing. They're trying to fulfill.
And this is what I was telling Cody. So
like
check this out.
self-prophesizing on things.
Yeah,
No,
but
yeah.
but wait a minute. The scriptures do not say that the Euphrates just dried up because the sun was hot.
Exactly.
It doesn't
See,
matter
here-
how it happened.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the deal. And this is what I was telling
It's
Cody.
happening.
This is exactly what I was telling Cody the other day. Is he was talking to me about like what we were talking about what we think the biggest threat to the nation is or whatever. We were going over, and I was telling him we are going over all these fucking things that are coming out, like the Euphrates River, and like this Egyptian technology shit that people are talking about, like everything that's coming. They're talking about Noah's Ark just got found. Not that that's new, but it's becoming refreshed. And I was telling him, I was like, this all seems like one giant plan. I was like, that's my biggest fear is that like they're putting this together as like they're molding it like self-prophesizing, but like you said,
So what
it
is
doesn't say that self-prophecy. self-prophesizing doesn't cause
It just says it's gonna happen.
It just says it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So then being like, oh,
They're like
well, look
unlocking
what's
it.
happening.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not
it's
a
fucking happening. Like,
I'm
you
not-
made it happen.
I'm not a believer. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
No, they believe. They obviously believe it more than we do because they are actively participating in
Yeah.
continuing these kinds of things. It's like they know what the playbook is. You
It's
know?
like they've read it themselves.
Yeah.
They wrote it themselves.
They wrote it themselves. No, I mean, shit,
Well,
they
like
sit here and talk
I
about...
was saying earlier,
Mhm.
okay, we have the technology to make the whole world think that Christ is coming back.
Yeah.
I mean,
And pulling the Antichrist. Yeah.
trumpets, the whole fucking works, man, coming out of the sky.
That's fair.
Fucking, you know. Now, what would that do to humanity?
Right. Trip everybody up.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and if you
I
think...
mean, I'd even be going, dude, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
you know, but then we're all going to be sitting here at the same time. We're all going to be like, but they
But-
can project sounds and images in
I
the
know,
sky.
but would you have the balls to do it? Think about it.
I
No,
would-
I-
All of a
I
sudden,
thought- because I
Jesus is
thought
coming
about
back
it,
and
you
you
know?
want to talk some shit about Jesus? I don't, nah, I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
fucking
Right,
with
are
it.
you gonna call out Jesus? Because that
you don't
is
know.
actually an unforgivable sin, is to deny the Holy Spirit.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
So,
so you're the
you're kind of screwed.
That's why I don't believe in aliens, because none of the fucks have come talk to me yet. You
right.
know, I mean, like, really.
But they
you
could
know,
do that too.
Yeah, well,
You know,
if
just
they
like
did, then I'd believe in them. But otherwise, you know, hey, what the fuck?
No, I mean,
You know,
they could make it look.
You know,
Like that's what we're
saying. Fucking A.
again, we're talking about Mayan illusion and all what we.
It's all illusion.
Everything.
We're not
like-
even sitting here, man. What
It's like
We don't even exist, Bob.
Exactly.
Get fucking real.
I'm not here.
It's just our essence from 30,000 years ago. We're in the pods in the Matrix.
We're
man.
meat puppets. Man, we're
Yeah.
like glove puppets. We're up on a higher plane, and we put our hands in the little sock pockets or the meat puppets, and go, oh look, this is Bob.
Well, shit, I mean,
Bob.
there is the 20 we all know the
And when it's
21
all
gram
over, you go
story.
like, ha, that was great. Let's do this.
We all know the 21 gram story.
We're just
It's like-
vessels for alien
Yeah.
entities.
I mean, shit. Are
Oh,
they
because of the
alien if
apocalypse.
it's us?
Hold on, is the 20,
You know what I'm saying?
Is the 21 gram story, didn't that get debunked? Is
No, it did not fucking get debunked. I guarantee.
21 grams.
Yeah, like
that's
when
what
you
your
die,
soul-
there's a measurable amount of
You can do the equation. That's how I know
It's
it can't.
gas,
You
man.
can do the equation yourself.
It's just a
Okay.
gas.
Because there's a percentage of every element that your body is made up of. And that is the fact throughout everybody.
Which
and you
is
can
made
sit there
of
and you can break down your
quartz
weight, and
and-
every time there's 21 grams missing.
And there's nothing there when you get down even smaller. So
And- well, and then
we're all just informed fields. And we're
Informed fields.
That's all we are.
I encompass
And-
one
and-
field.
And our responsibility is to
And I didn't get informed
our
with
field.
shit.
And our armor is our information. You know, that's how
Body
we
armor.
approach our worldview and everything, you know. My armor was like, oh, well, COVID's bullshit. I already saw the fucking plan. They had it on paper. I see how they already said they're going to roll it out. And it was biolab in China. And like, oh, maybe people start dropping dead. I don't think it will. You know, and it's just, that's information, that's armor, that's knowledge. And then it all comes down to, you know, they can't put a lot of energy in people like us because
There's too many.
they know we can
Too much work.
Yeah, they don't even want to drag us off to camp and re-educate us.
Or shoot us.
Right, it
Beat
would
us.
just be
Because
too, it's too
you
big a
know,
threat.
we
really.
might
It's
talk
so
to
much
some-
energy.
we might talk to somebody else
Expensive.
and affect them, you know. So we're like a virus to them.
But they've already put up in their plans, they know that there's gonna be ghettos of people who are surviving in some sort of like off-grid communities. They've
You
already
mean
put this
Mad
in the
Max?
plan. Yes, but for after everyone's been rounded up and then they're stuck in these fucking big cities, they know there's gonna be little outliers.
I just don't think they're going to even get that far. I think what we're seeing.
That's what I was telling Cody.
That's
I
what
don't think, all right, at least
I'm seeing.
What do we do against
the
those?
death throes of desperation going on the whole thing, and all they got are words and dreams and their vision and oh, I can talk like a German Nazi and make everybody eat bugs and shit. You know, hey, fuck you. You know,
Hey,
fuck you. Too many people are just
Make me eat bugs then,
yeah,
motherfucker.
get right up to it. Yeah.
If they wanted to kill off a shitload of us, it's so easy. It's not
Yeah.
funny, man. They do a real virus. They develop the fucking antidote before they even release
Right,
it.
That's the thing.
They're all vaccinated. Fucking turn it loose and it kills everybody.
Well,
Don't
that-
tell me they can't do it.
Yeah, that's
No.
right.
You know.
It's there's so much more at play. That,
Well, you know, I think they're just buffoons, to be honest.
Well, I mean, they
Because
keep putting, well, that's
if
the
I
thing.
had their money
If that was
and their power, and I wanted to accomplish what we're talking about, I'd fucking do it. And I'm a dumbass. So,
right, so but
and they'll start turning on each other and shit will get real freaky. And like I say, I think I'm gonna watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy like over and over and over again for the next 6 months until then
Till
pop
it's
back
over.
out and see what the fuck's going on. Because it's got more truth to it than what's really going on.
yeah, but they'll probably kill the signal. And then you'll have to read the fucking book.
Again and again.
so how did you guys used to fucking celebrate Thanksgiving when you guys were kids?
Oh, we grandma, grandpa
Go swimming
come
in the
by,
lake.
cook a turkey. And,
You would travel or no?
no, they come.
Nah.
Yeah.
Get fucked, son.
Like they would bring a turkey from the store or what?
Oh, they go out
Mom
back.
would cook like a big 20-pound turkey. Grandma will bring some dishes, and aunt and uncle and a few others, and they come over and the adults will play cards, and grandma will let you drink a sip of her wine that she used to.
And all the uncles had a flask in their back pocket.
No, we didn't have that. You're fine.
My Thanksgiving.
Hey, come on.
We didn't have. It wasn't TV and football. I know that.
No.
Yeah, you guys
It
listen
was
to
just.
radio shows?
It was like great because it was a day you could like eat all you want. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
the rest of the time you just ate what you got.
Do you remember any Thanksgiving traditions that your family would keep?
Nah, I mean
Swimming in the
turkey.
lake.
Swimming in the lake.
Turkey.
Jesus.
I'm serious.
Wait, hold on.
Colder and fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you lived out in fucking where?
See,
Like,
Thanksgiving-
down here in Indiana?
Thanksgiving was always great because there wasn't any like real substantiated traditions associated
Right.
with it. It's just 4 days off.
Just everybody pigging out.
Yeah, so you know, there was.
Family chilling.
I guess there was Macy Day parade.
Getting shitty.
yeah.
We'd watch the parade on TV. which
And
is-
March of Dimes started
yeah, but I didn't
right
watch that
around
shit.
Thanksgiving.
That was Labor Day.
Was it?
Yeah.
I just remember walking down the streets and they'd have boards. And
Yeah.
it was just
Oh yeah. Yeah.
full of fucking
Dimes.
change.
Yeah.
All the way down the streets and shit, man, you know.
I didn't-
People throwing change in there for the March of Dimes and shit. It was crazy, man.
Wow.
And we didn't have not one fucking retarded motherfucker jump in there and start.
Yeah.
I mean, crazy, dude. Dimes? Dude, the March of Dimes, and they were marching down the street and everybody threw fucking change in the goddamn.
You're fucking pelting motherfuckers.
Well, everybody
with
went to downtown
It was a
Indianapolis
UN
because
thing.
the stores were all.
It was.
Really?
They had all these displays and shit, you know, puppets drumming and all this bullshit
Yeah.
after Thanksgiving for the Christmas season. So people would
Window
all
shop.
flock in to the circle, down by
Yeah.
the circle, and
Yeah.
you know.
Oh well,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they made like shitloads of money off of that. I mean, that's hardcore.
Well, there's
American
a
currency.
fucking dimes this fucking thick all the way down the street in a fucking about this wide.
That must have been
Trough.
downtown Indy or something.
It was
Yeah.
down around the circle.
Yeah, we never got to the city for Christmas.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
you
it's
guys
pretty
never
crazy.
shot any birds. You guys never were hunting people. You guys lived in the
No,
city.
well, Christmas was it like started in like September when the Sears catalog came.
Yeah.
And then it had a whole big thick toy section, and then we each were told we had
You gotta pick out one
$25 to spend, and you pick out what you want Santa Claus to bring out of the catalog.
Yeah.
and
And Santa Claus would pick
and,
that
I gotta-
motherfucker up
and you could go together to get like one like a slot car set or something.
and you could buy a 22 rifle.
We hauling out of like a
Really?
fucking thing? A magazine?
Yeah, after
Catalog,
Sears catalog.
Sears catalog.
Little toy magazine.
Sears
And
catalog.
And when the next one came out, that went into the outhouse as toilet paper.
at his house.
At his house, not my house.
No, Bob lived in the,
In the burbs, dude.
yeah.
No, we had a bathtub and a flushing toilet.
What?
Wow.
God damn, Bob, living large.
He was, man.
Well, you know,
That's the way it is.
you're actually the
No heat upstairs in the bedrooms at all growing up.
We didn't
But
have
he
any
rises
heat
Literally
downstairs.
the windows, no storm windows, they'd rattle in the wind, boom, 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 and had all these windows upstairs. And you know, if it's 15 below outside, it was 15
But that's
below
okay, because
inside.
that's upstairs.
Yeah, but he
Everybody
rises.
slept downstairs.
Once you get into the covers and warmed up,
Cause a little friction.
yeah.
Grab the
Breathe through a
cat.
hole this big.
Bring a cat.
Grab the
goddamn.
cat, throw it under the cover.
Fuck cats, dude.
Hey man, they're warm.
Hey, man. I guess I remember that gold. I always have a dog, is the thing, is I've always had a dog.
Cats are king, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't stand
And
cats.
cats,
purr,
man.
man.
You can
It's
Dude,
like
they
healing.
purr. Oh my god.
healing.
I
It's
don't
like
even
a
get me
massage
started.
and-
I legit will like.
eat.
Well,
I'll club a cat to death before
Your
a baby
cat
dude.
will
Legit.
snuggle up against you, right? And you got to get up and take a piss or whatever, and throw the cat off and shit. Go take a piss, come back, get into bed. 5 minutes later, that cat's right up against your ass again, man.
My dog gets out of the way. I take a piss. I come back and my dog joins me. Like it's seamless. Fuck a cat. I can't stand him. I'm not telling you that your cat sucks. I'm telling you every cat that I've ever had did not work with me. That's what I'm saying.
Well, you got to give them time to get used to your dog.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No. I'm not talking about getting used to my dog. I'm talking about them working out with me. Me and the cat don't get along.
Personal.
That's because you
It gets personal, for real.
don't think like a cat, man.
I don't. I
living
think
out
like
there.
a fucking dog, and it's like, get away from me before I kill you.
Cats are slick, man.
They're awful creatures.
Aren't
They're
they
the
out there?
oddest animal that we still keep around.
I thought you had
Phil
them.
Street, I got 3,
They're
and I hate them all.
They're infested.
I fucking hate them.
Do you feed them?
Yeah, of course I feed them. Well, okay, yes. I mean,
We
they
don't hate
eat
'em
mice
that
and
bad.
they eat mice and stuff, but yeah, I feed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I make sure they don't die. You know, I keep them hungry enough to make
Is there
sure
gonna be
they're
like
hunted.
8 more next year?
Huh?
Is there gonna be like 8 more next year?
No,
Yeah.
maybe, dude. I mean, it depends on these fucking rats out here, man.
Well, are they all male?
No, I have 1 male, 2 females. But the
Yeah.
female, no, the
If you're gonna have 8.
no. They're all
12.
fixed. They're all fixed.
Oh well, fuck that. That isn't even right here, because this area right here
Needs
has had,
wild cats.
has had feral cats
We need them.
for I don't know how many years,
Centuries.
forever.
Centuries.
Yeah.
we got up to 12 next door.
Really?
You have 12 right now?
No, a couple summers ago.
You had 12?
Like
And some of them came over
3
here.
years.
Yeah.
Dude, showing up in a fucking Christmas sweater, like you gotta like.
It's gotta be like a cat, like a minx coat, but a cat coat.
You're like a cat lady
This is
now,
made
dude.
in America.
Oh, that.
I bought this in like 1994.
Really? Holy
Yeah,
shit, man.
look at it, made in America.
That's
Man.
impressive.
Uh-huh.
See?
That's
Go up
fucking
in America.
Restless, bro.
Yeah.
Merc.
Fuck your Gucci sweater, alright?
Trump, son. Alright, well,
Alright,
here's a
what's
new
next?
subject. Trump versus DeSantis. Talk about it.
Oh, that's all fucking.
Don't, hey, Bob.
But who do you
Bob,
seriously, if you were...
none of you, no. Bob, none of you negative shit, alright? I don't want to hear this. It doesn't matter, because then the conversation's null and void. I want to have a conversation.
Here it is. It's called optics. Okay.
Okay,
And
okay.
you got the rhinos on the left, and they're anything to take down Trump. So we're going to find out whether DeSantis is on the team or not. And if he is on the team, it would be great to just have Ron and Trump go at it, and then Ron can take all their millions of dollars to throw towards him, and then he'll say, I really like being the governor of Florida, and I don't really, because the law is in Florida, as soon as he announces he's going to run, then he's got to step down as governor.
And so then the lieutenant governor becomes governor?
Or whatever, Florida, yeah, probably. But I think it's all optics. I think it's all part of the plan, It's
Part
of the
controlled
show.
opposition.
I
It's
think
not-
a debate between the two of them would be awesome.
They're not going to go head to head.
But if they did,
Yeah, I think it would be the fucking best debate of the century.
well,
No,
they
what
would
they're-
get
yeah.
out
Yeah.
what we want to hear. They would say, between the two of them, arguing with each other, Trump would go, these motherfuckers in the Ukraine, DeSantis would go, nah, bullshit, man, it's the fucking border. And I mean, they were just hammering each other back and forth.
Exactly.
And the American people are watching it, trying to figure out who they like. And all they're doing is getting the information pumped
There you
into their
go.
fucking head.
That's a good point.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Well, who do you think that Trump would choose as his vice this time?
If Trump,
Governor of Iowa.
Who's that?
I can't remember her name.
Oh, it's a female.
Iowa.
Female.
I would like to see.
I think so. They like her a lot, and Iowa's an important bellwether state. And
I really like Carrie Lake, dude. She's fucking badass.
and we want her governor of Arizona and clean that shit.
Yeah.
Good point.
Same thing with DeSantis in Florida. It's too key
That's
and
what I'm
critical.
saying.
I like. What's her name? No.
Yeah, sort of.
No, I like her.
Yeah, well, if she wasn't good looking, then you probably wouldn't.
What do
No.
you think about Marjorie Taylor?
It's the reason she's not as loud as she is because of the state she's governor of. South
Which
Dakota.
state is she governor of?
South Dakota.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's like the governor of Wyoming. It's
Yeah.
one of those states that there's not a lot of noise
There's no one
about it.
there.
Right.
I'm not saying that doesn't make
But
you
I also like Tulsi Gabbard
less
too.
constituents or
Tulsi Gabbard's a
Tulsi
shit.
Gabbard's
That's
the
because
shit.
the media has succeeded in brainwashing you, but that's a go ahead.
Hey,
Well, that's the thing is I was down with Tulsi Gabbard when
But
she was a Democrat.
the same can be said about Boebert or Marjorie Taylor Greene or Carrie Lake or Nancy Pelosi or anything
Any of
else.
them.
Again,
You never know, you just
again,
gotta
I
go
think
with
it's
your
getting
gut.
more and more important not to give any attention to their shit show. And
Well, it's kind of impossible because we're a political.
Yeah,
you
and
don't have
media.
to be.
And Mike Pence.
Well, we
fucked
are.
us.
Don't
Mike
have
Pence
to be.
also
Don't have
fucked
to be.
us.
Don't have to be. I can turn you on to a website right now that take care of the next 6 months as you go through all this research material.
Well, I'm talking about the fact that we cover current events that are political. Is my point.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still saying the whole thing is an illusionary shit show, movie scripted.
Okay,
Both
but I'm
sides, because it's all about
but we're real.
It's all about controlling the narrative. So everything we think we know and everything else is still based upon what we've heard, read,
And-
how we
and-
processed our thoughts based upon.
And what
I
the past year-
understand
What did
that.
you
I'm
think
just
of
saying to sit here and say that we can't talk about it is ridiculous because that's the whole point of why the cameras are rolling.
No,
Right, Bob? That's why you're sitting here? Right?
and
That's why you're sitting
I'm gonna try to take it to a higher level, man.
Well-
I'm gonna try to help you out.
I'm just saying, you're already talking about it, so you're giving it attention. Point moving forward.
I had a thought like, okay, let's just say like the world's gonna get destroyed, and you only had just a little bit of time to carve on a rock something that would persist way into the future where somebody could see it and it would communicate a message. What would that be? Because there's all the glyphs on the rocks around here and stuff, and certainly they're communicating messages, but a lot of people spend a lot of time interpreting them in different ways. But what could we actually carve on a rock that would convey a message 100,000 years in the future if everything got knocked on its ass in between? I don't know. An iPad or
Well, that's one thing I've thought about it.
that might be what's already on the rock.
Well, I have thought about the humanity, if humanity were to get wiped out. I mean, there's no way.
Try to get Nancy Pelosi's face on there.
There's no way we'd be able to recover our fucking info. You
It's
know what I
happened
mean?
multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times, and they know it's going to happen again soon. So they want to either get off planet or under the planet and try to survive better than they did the last time. And the history's full of stories like that. Like in Cappadocia in Turkey, all the underground cities, they could have had 100,000 people down there for years. They had fresh air, water air ventilation, and water supplies, and it was meant to house a lot of people. Now, why do they have to go underground?
Yeah, we're seeing fucking evidence of people 1.2 million years ago.
Yeah. There was an article I was reading where they found a cod evident because they basically found a way to determine whether or not an animal or some sort of meat was cooked directly on fire,
Right.
or indirect heat like an oven,
Right.
or like, you know, a rudimentary oven even. And they found like a cod that was cooked in an oven 780,000 years ago by what they're assuming were modern humans. They like were saying that it was potentially other hominids, but they're saying based on the tools at the site, it's more than likely Homo
Yeah, but
erectus.
I'll just say this: all of our dating methods and everything else are totally wrong.
No, I agree.
So we don't know.
100%
Because
Those
it's hard,
artifacts exist, but to actually put it in chronology, fuck it, I really don't know. Any carbon dating beyond 4,000 years is very, very, very suspect.
Right, and then, but then beyond, I believe, what is it, 60,000 years or 40,000 years, you have to switch to different methods of dating, which are also pretty suspect. I mean, you know, and it gives you like a, you know.
And that's one of the big arguments about, well, if there was really advanced civilizations, why don't we see artifacts? But Randall Carson, who's a catastrophist,
Right, believes that the catastrophe was so hardcore that
yeah,
it wiped
and
everything
several
out.
times, yeah. And if you think about it, like, where's all of our cities and our culture? It's either on rivers, river deltas, or on the coast, and it's sea level rise suddenly or anything else. You know, even flood events and everything. That's what's going to get wiped out. So, you know, that shit's gone, no matter what civilization was there before. And we do find some weird artifacts, you know, screws way down in the ground and shit like that. So, you know, the deal of it is, there are people who know more about our true history than we do, and they've kept it hidden from us. I won't call them, you know, the Jesuits. Just imagine what it'd be like if you had free reign in the archives of the Vatican that go on for miles and miles under there. I mean, you know, what shit are they sitting on? What do they know? No matter what, they have forgotten that they used to know, that now they're onto their demonic possessed world domination trip, that none of that probably matters to them either. You know, everything we know is going to get stood on its head. That's what truth does, you know. It just brings light in. Everybody's going to have to readjust to the fact that boy, they sure got their shit over on us for a while, you know.
Yeah.
And my parents' generation and everything, and humanity, you know. Like, wow. Been keeping some big secrets away from us.
Yeah, we've been duped pretty fucking hard, obviously. I think we'll find out pretty soon.
Yeah, well, we won't know it all, but we'll know more than we know now.
Yeah, or absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
which is probably, you know.
Well, see, I
Would be
think
just as
that's
well.
part of their psyop, is to get us to a point where everything's in doubt, even the truth. You know, that's one great way to cover up the truth, is tell it in amongst a bunch of lies, and then, you know, you just go on past it. You can't believe anything. You can't believe your eyes, your ears. They can project sound, you know, like in that article, or, you know. So that's my plan. Is the Earth flat or round? You know, I don't really know. You know, and they win when it's that way. So, you know, you find your own truth, and you know, and Zen is you just deal with what arises in front of you. That's literally right there. That's reality for you. So there ain't a whole lot to do. That's what they say. It's like perfect inaction is like the most active thing you can do. Then you just do what you do.
Well, yeah, I think.
Now, it doesn't mean
building
you sit
something-
on your ass or
Right.
don't like have dreams and plans. It's just like,
Yeah, I think actively
Yeah.
building something that's totally
yeah,
sustainable on its own,
yeah.
that
Do it,
works independently of that
yeah.
shit.
Make work fun, and then you get a lot done.
Hey, I've never heard that one, dude.
I just made that up.
Yeah, that's a
Pretty
good
damn good, isn't it? I like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think.
And then, what was I saw the other day, said silence is death. Speaking is death. so speak and die.
That's pretty good.
Albert Camus.
That's pretty good.
Who was it?
Name was Albert. Camus. Camus.
Okay.
In the 40s.
Wait, hold on. This. Sorry. One more time. What was this? Albert what?
Camus.
Camus.
Camus. Camus.
Oh, Camus. Okay.
French.
Yeah.
French.
So yeah.
Silence is death. To speak is death. To speak and die. They're going to get you either way. So you might as well just go down and, blowing them shit. I hate that.
That's legit.
That's
I
what
just like to fucking inform people of the shit they don't know,
That's why they
Not
had to
that
put a cage of rats on Winston Smith's face in 1984 to get in there. Why is that?
Was that?
Have you ever read 1984?
Yeah.
Where they put the cage of rats on Winston Smith's face.
Very great.
At the end, he goes, "I love brother," and he meant it. He really did.
It's fucking psycho. God, dude, it's been a while since I read that shit. But they're like, I think they're asking him like, what's 4 plus 4 or whatever,
What's
or
2 plus-
2
yeah.
plus 2 or whatever.
Equals 5, yeah.
Yeah, equals 5. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, it's been a while since I read that, but holy shit, I was like. And then by the end of it, he's just like, he just loves the hugs or whatever. He just like wants the embrace, and he's just like, Have you read that shit?
No,
Dude, they're like torturing this guy. It's basically, it's 1984, which is like,
It's the greatest love novel ever written.
Yeah.
It in essence is like, it tells, like, it's, if you read it, it's ominously similar to like the life we live today.
If
And
you
it's
read
written
that
in like,
and Brave New World, you pretty well covered.
yeah, an Animal Farm.
Yeah.
Animal
It's
Farm.
basically like Bob says a lot. You can't trust anything. You can't trust yourself. You can't trust the woman you love. You can't trust the fucking anything you've ever been told. Anything.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just.
No, I disagree. You can trust that you probably don't know the truth. It's different than like not trusting it. It's like I trust in the fact that unless I spend more time looking at it and formulating my own thoughts and opinions about it based upon the information I've garnered, then I only take it at face value. Everything's at face value. Authority's at face value. What gives you the authority, the right to do this or that, or say you're going to do this or that, And if I don't like it, I'll go somewhere else.
Excuse me.
No, that's legit. Yeah, so anyways, 1984
I'm smoked up.
is in essence this dystopian novel about just where society, it was written in like the 1930s.
It's written in 1948, or it's published in 1949.
Okay.
But
So-
he wrote it in 48, and it just reversed the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, a lot of it was really a description of Stalin and fascism
Yeah.
and everything that was already easy for Orwell to see back in the day. But then he just projected it in the near future, picked out a date.
He was
Yeah.
he was an author who was like in the Spanish Revolution and shit. Like he wrote a book called Homage to Catalonia, which is pretty fucking crazy about his experience there. But
Well, he
anyways,
spent a lot of time in Burma too.
But 1984 is in essence like this dystopian novel about like what, at the time was like a very futuristic, there's like, fucking TVs or like just screens in everyone's room that just like watch your every movement.
Yeah.
And
Big Brothers is watching.
Big Brother is
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
And so in one scene, there's like a gentleman who's being tortured by like what you may call like the deep state.
The
If you were-
Ingsoc.
Yeah. But if you were to refer to like,
Party.
he doesn't know the book is
Oh,
the
okay,
reason.
the
Yeah.
party.
So if you were to refer to like a common reference or like a modern reference, it would be like the deep state.
Okay.
And he's being like tortured by them, and they're telling him 2 + 2 = 5, and they're like, "What is it?" And he's like, "It equals 4," and they're like, keep fucking convincing. No, it's, and by the end of it, he just like wants a hug. So this is a
No,
very
he actually sees
It's
five
whatever they
instead
told
of
him.
four.
yeah. He like it's a very
Cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Yeah, and they convince him that 2 + 2 is 5, and by the end of it, he just like is so in pain and like, and they don't really tell you what he's going through. They just say that he's attached to a machine that causes pain.
Yeah, they turn it on.
And they just turn the knob up, and they keep turning the knob up and keep turning the knob up, and so you can really only assume he's like being electrocuted or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways,
But none of that was good enough. It was the rats in the cage because he had a phobia on rats.
Oh,
So 2 hungry rats in the open.
Yeah, and how did they find that out again?
Because they watched every move of your life. They just, yeah.
Every movie he liked?
every move of your life.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because they were spying on him when the rat came in the room where he had the little secret place where the gal that he was bunking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Julia. Yeah, I've only read it. I've read that book like, I bet at least a dozen times.
Yeah,
I usually read it every
fuck,
year. It's not very good.
Yeah,
It's beautifully written. It talks about newspeak, the new language, and we see all that. The redefinition.
Oh, the
of
thought
words and
police.
stuff.
They talk about
Thought
fact
police, yeah.
checkers.
And at
Yeah.
first,
They literally talk about fact
and
checkers,
it's all
and they're
party
called thought
rules.
police.
So the party's open to everybody, black, white, anybody. You're in the party, so it's like non-racial, just control. And you know, some people are far enough up in the party where they get some luxury items and shit. But it's all total domination, control, drab and dreary. You know, victory cigarettes where the tobacco falls out the end. They give you free gin, but it's like fusion. You know, and it's just like a small refrigerator size. And they want to market it as a heating unit. It puts out more heat. It's just splitting water, basically. I think maybe heavy water, I'm not sure, but you know, you just top it off every 15 years. And using photovoltaic infrared cells, they can produce like 40 efficient electric conversion off of that little unit. And you know, that pretty much solves everything. If you think the world's going to burn up because of climate change or some shit, you can't hardly say, well, we don't like that. That's like non-polluting. And, you know, oh no, that's not what we want. We want to take everything you got away from you and make you drive Teslas.
Yeah.
It's their shit. Their apocalypse ain't mine. Fuck them. Yeah. Not watching TV is really good. Nobody here watches TV, right?
wow.
I mean,
What do you watch
I
on
don't watch
TV?
TV. I mean, I watch YouTube.
I don't actually know
I'll
TV.
give you that. That's okay, because that's research material.
Okay.
If
I was
you-
like, I don't really know
if
exactly
you-
what
is it-
constitutes as
is
YouTube.
No, the mainstream, like Netflix. Do you have Netflix?
My lady does, but I don't watch it with her.
Yeah, it seems like the ladies are huge buyers of these subscriptions. My lady has to have old.
Yeah, dude, I have YouTube. She has every single one. She has HBO, Hulu, and Netflix.
Yeah.
And I pay through YouTube Premium, so I don't have to watch.
Yeah,
it.
if you want to get into something really weird, what I've been into lately, just because I came across this guy, Max Egan interviewed him, then he was on David Rodriguez the same day, and I thought, I'll check him out. His name's Jason Bashir.
Oh, okay, yes, I have heard of him.
Archaics.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've been going through his stuff. It's well, the interesting thing about him is his background, plus he cites actual sources of old out of print books that
Okay.
he was in prison for 26 years in Texas, and he was like the state prison librarian, so he was getting all these old books from all the old jails and prisons, plus
Fuck
prisoners have been in there since, you know, they hand their libraries down to the next guy. So
That's crazy.
he's, you know, all the old Greek texts and everything else, and he's born or adopted at 5 as a Baptist, hardcore Southern Baptist, and first 6 years in prison he tried to use his research to prove that stories in the Bible. Then he got like, well, no, here's what's really going on.
Yeah,
And then it goes on from there.
To
Very,
prove the-
very interesting stuff. He's got like 300 videos out and stuff, but he's just exploded on the scene. He's like popping up all over the place.
What's his name?
Jason, it's called Archaics, Archaix.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't agree with all his conclusions, but his research methods are impeccable. He like, you know,
They killed me at a great
26 years out watching TV, seeing a movie, you know, he'll be being interviewed and they'll say, oh, that's like that movie, like Truman Show. Well, I never seen it. You know, people tell me I ought to watch it, but you know, you guys got to realize you know,
Yeah, that one's
I was
crazy.
reading books. His bibliography is like this fucking thick of everything. He's read. pretty amazing. He's got like 17 books published, and he's just really popped on the scene. I like his biblical investigations on the Old Testament and how it was
You
all
said
put
that he's
together.
trying to prove the Bible stories?
Well, initially, but then he got to a point where it was just like, what he did was started investigating all the different calendar systems, multitudes of calendars, and how they overlap, and then when you can start specifically putting the same events on and seeing where all the calendars match up, so now you got one calendar from day one, which to him is like 5,287 BC, is like right after the last big wipeout, or one of the big wipeouts, and a whole new calendars came in. It was, everything before that was moon and star calendars, and it became the sun calendar, and that was a collapse of the, what's he call it, the something canopy, the basically we go under there are cyclical events where we're under like the purple dawn. You ever get any of that stuff, what it was like in the old time Garden of Eden, where there wasn't much sun, you couldn't see the sun, everything didn't rain, there was no wind, no weather, it just misted it real heavily, it watered all the plants, everything got huge, giants existed. You can replicate that in the lab, those conditions. What's he called that? The something canopy. But you know, but he just going through all kinds of ancient traditions and literature from all over the world. That he's had 26 years in prison. That's all he did.
Yeah.
You know, and he was being published while he was in there and stuff.
Wow.
And so by the time he popped out, like early this summer, you know, people were looking at his work, and you know, he's making it all available, like $60. You get like 1,300 books and PDF files and charts and everything he's drawn.
What?
And he uses,
fuck?
yeah, so he's just an interesting, interesting source of information that's sort of coming at everything in left field. But then I match that up to a guy that I've watched for years, Cliff High, who had said just a few months ago that it was destruction of the past, that we were going to have our past destroyed because of the truth that's coming out. Then you see somebody like Archaics come out with this story, and it's like, yeah, this just blows the doors off everything, based upon actual accounts and
Yeah.
stuff, you know. I mean, you know, not just the Bible, that's just one thing he goes into. A whole, you know, he tears into Sitchin, some of Sitchin's stuff was right. His dating was so far off that, you know, people didn't live
Which
for
is like the Anunnaki.
400,000 years and stuff.
It's the
Yeah.
Anunnaki.
Yeah, he thinks they were survivors, the Caucasian race, they were survivors of that previous catastrophe that they came into. And it makes sense because it matches up with Quetzalcoatl and Viracocha and all these Thoth and all this, the Enki, the serpent, giving us the knowledge of mankind, helping us out after the last catastrophe. So just real deep shit, you know. He just goes on and on. And he's kind of got the style of a guy that's been in prison for 26 years.
Yeah.
So that makes, which I enjoy. It's refreshing. You know, he's not pretentious at all. But he's very confident in his research. And if you don't believe it, here's the shit. Go look at it yourself. That's what I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're still good?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Dude, Jesus Christ, you guys.
I know.
It's a fucking speakeasy, guys. Come on.